Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to tutorial number 9 in database CSEN 501. In this tutorial, we are going to have more examples on the SQL queries, and we are going to introduce the nested queries and how to write nested query and when to use nested queries. When we say nested query, we mean that some new keywords will be introduced in this tutorial, like in, not in, exists, not exists, and except, difference, or minus. Let's take some examples to know when to use these keywords and how to use them in a correct way. Okay, in this example, here we want to list the nutrition supplements that do not contain biotin. So we want all the supplements that do not have biotin. Okay, how can we solve this problem? Or how can we get the substance that do not have biotin? Okay, we can check from here the substance that have biotin, which is centrum. Simply, what we can do is get the elements or the substance that have biotin, which is in this case centrum, and get all other elements or all other substance. What all the supplements we have are centrum and aspirin. So, in order to get the supplements that do not have biotin, which is here, this is the ones that have biotin, and this is all the supplements we have, we can simply get the difference or minus between them. How can we do such query in SQL? There is something called except in SQL, which can be used as a difference between the queries. So we can write a query to get the substance that have biotin and write a query that will return all the substance and get the difference between them. However, in order to do so, we must check that they are compatible. Okay, so for example, of this query will return names only, this should return names only as well, and so on. Okay, we can use except or minus or difference to do such operation. So first, let's get the query that will return all the supplements. We can write select from content C1 or supplements. However, we need to check the compatibility between them. So either get all the rows from the same table, since all the supplements are found here as well, or get the names of the supplements from this table and subtract or get the difference between the names here and the names here. Okay, so we can select all from content C1, and now we want to get the rows that have biotin, okay, which will be centrum. Select all from content C2 where C2.substance equal biotin. Okay, and do the difference or the except. We can write except. Okay, this is one of the ways to do such a query. Another option is to get the contents that have biotin and check each row that is not found in this content or not exist in this content. In this case, we can use exist and not exists. How can we use exist and not exists? Okay, now what we want is to get the names. For example, here we want to have all the names and to check that this name is not found in the names of the content that have biotin. So we want to get the name of the content that have biotin, which is in this case centrum, and then check that this name is not found in this name. Okay, so if this name is not found in this name, the name will be returned. So for example, we are going to check in centrum. Is centrum found here? Yes, so it will not be returned. Is aspirin is found here? No, so aspirin will be returned in this case. Okay, how to write the query of exists? Simply, we want to get the names and then check if this name is not found in a specific query. Okay, we want to get the names of the substance that have biotin. So select C.name from content C1, where C1 dot substance equals to biotin. Okay, now we want to get all names and check if this name is found in this one, then it will not be returned. If not, it will be returned. So we are going to select C.name from content C. We have here two options, either to use where not in or where not exist. Okay, if we write where not in, what happened here? Actually, we check the name of each row that it is not in the name in this query. Let's take an example. Let's see what this relation will get. It will get as an output a row. We want the content that have biotin actually, which is in this case the centrum. So this one will return centrum. C.name from content. Okay, we are going to check the C.name from content. Is centrum not in centrum? No, so this one will not be returned. Aspirin not in this relation? Yes, so it will be returned. Centrum? No, and so on. So at the end, we check if this is found in here. If it is found, it will not be returned. If it is not found, it will be returned. This is the not in. Okay, in not in, these should be compatible. If we are comparing name, then this query should output name as well. So when we use not in, we should take care of the attributes that is found in select. Okay, what if we want to use not exist? How to use it? We should relate between these two queries. In other words, the query here returns true or false, which means that in this case, we want to check if the whole query returns true or false. Okay, how can we do so? Now we have all the names here, and here we have the names with biotin. We want to check that whenever we found a name here, or a name in this query that is not in this query, then it's returned true. In other words, this query will return Centrum, and all the content we have Centrum and aspirin. Okay, we want to check that whenever I executed a row, this will return true or false. If it returns true, then this one will be returned. If it returned false, then this row will not be returned. Okay, so we are going to write not exists. Okay, not exists that select a name from content where c1.substance equal biotin and c.name equals to c1.name. We want to check that whenever we have a content, okay, and that this content is having biotin, it will never have the same name as this one. So what actually happened? We get this name, this query. In this query, let's move one by one. We are pointing here. Okay, where not exists, select c1.name, which is Centrum, from context c1, c1.substance having biotin, which is this one, and c1.name equals to c1.name. This one equals to this one. Okay, so this one will return true. Okay, since this one returns true and this is not exists, then the Centrum in this case will not be returned as an output because this is not exist. Okay, so this query will return true. Not exist with true will not return this row. So in this case, the Centrum will not be returned. Let's move to the next one, aspirin. Let's check here, c1.substance equal biotin. This aspirin has biotin? No. c1 name dot equals to c1.name, which is the Centrum? No. So this one will return false. False where not exist, actually this doesn't exist because this returns false, so the C name will be returned in this case, which is aspirin. So when we use exist and not exist, we actually are executing this part. If it is true and this is not exist, it will not be returned. If it is false and this is not exist, it will be returned. Okay, and we should always consider relating this query with this query. That's why we set c.name, which is here, equals to c1.name. Okay, display the name and the supplier of those nutrition supplements that contain vitamin C but no other substance. We want to double check or to get the name of the supplier of the supplements that have vitamin C only. Okay, which substance that from here have vitamin C only? Let's check here. Centrum has vitamin A, Centrum has vitamin C, so Centrum is not in our solution because it had other substance than vitamin C. Aspirin vitamin A, aspirin vitamin C, so aspirin has more than one substance than vitamin C, so it will not be part of our solution. Let's assume that we have another name called multivitamin, for example, and here it has vitamin C only. So in this case, this row only should be return. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to get the elements that have vitamin C or. Okay, how to get the elements that have vitamin C? We can simply from here write select S1 dot substance from substance S1 where S1 dot substance equal vitamin C. So this query will return vitamin C. What we want to do is we want to get all the substance except or all the substance without vitamin C. What other substance we have? We have vitamin E, biotin, iron. Okay, so we want to get all these substances, and whenever we have an element that has any substance of these, it will not be returned, because we do not want any element that has any substance except vitamin C. So simply what we can do is to check that each content is not having any one of the other substance. The first thing we are going to do is to get the other substance and then check that each one does not have any of these substance. Okay, so we are going to select C dot substance from substance from content C. Okay, we want to get the other substance, either to get it from here or here, both are correct. Okay, and to make except, because we want all the substance except those who have vitamin C. So this query at the end will return A, vitamin A, biotin, iron. And then we want to get the name and the supplier of each content that is not found here. So we want to check that centrum or the substance of the centrum do not have vitamin E, biotin, and iron, and so on. Okay, so we want to select the name and the supplier. The name can be extracted from content C1.name, and the supplier from supplement S1.supplier from content C1 supplement S1, where the name is equal to the name, because we want to relate them, and this query not exist. So we can write here where here we should relate between these two queries. So we are going to write here where C.name equal C1.name. Okay, and here we need to write the condition of the join, how to join between content and supplement using the name. So we are going to write C1.name equal to one.name and not exists all these query. Okay, let's divide this into part to understand what we have already done. Now what we are going to do is to check after joining these two tables, okay, to check if the name equals to the name here. Let's assume that we have Centrum. Okay, now we want to make the difference between them. The difference here will get the substance where the name equals to the name. What is the substance when the name is equal to Centrum? Is vitamin A, vitamin C, biotin, iron. Okay, so this one will get us the substance of Centrum minus vitamin C. So this one will get us the substance of Centrum except vitamin C, which will get us vitamin A, biotin, iron. Do this query exist? Yes, actually it exists because it returns data. Okay, it returns vitamin A, biotin, iron. It returns set of records, which means that it did not return false or empty bag. And that's why it exists. Since this exists, okay, so Centrum will not be part of our answer because the condition here is that this doesn't exist. Actually, it exists. Let's move to another example. Aspirin. We want to extract the substance when the C name equals to the name here, which is aspirin. What is the substance we have? Is vitamin A, vitamin C, and iron. This except vitamin C will get us vitamin A and iron. Actually, it exists because we have vitamin A and iron, so this will not be part of our answer. Let's take this example, multivitamin, and this one has only one record, vitamin C. Okay, let's get the substance of this name, which will be vitamin C. Vitamin C except vitamin C will get null or empty bag. So actually this query does not exist because no output returned from here. And that's why in this case, this one will be returned, which is what we want. We want the name of the substance that have only vitamin C. Okay? Find the names, the doctor names who earn more than all those specializing in pediatrics. We want the names that have salaries greater than a specific specialization. Okay, how can we do so? Okay, let's see what we want. We want the doctor names. The doctor names can be extracted from doctors. So select the doctor name from doctors D. Okay, we want to check that the salary of this doctor greater than all the doctors in a specific specialization. Okay, so now we want to do is to get the salary of the doctors with a specific specialization. So we are going to select D1.salary from Dr. D1, where D1 dot specialization equals to pediatrics. Okay, what we want to do, we want to check that the salary of this doctor is greater than all the salaries here. Okay, we can use something called all. We have two functions which are all and any. Okay, we use all when we want this output to be greater than each and every row in this query. and we use any when we want this output to be greater than at least one or more, any one of them, but not necessary to be all of them. In this case here we want to get the doctor with salary greater than all. So we are going to write where D dot salary greater than all of this query. However, we need to check the compatibility between them. For example, here we are comparing salary with salaries. So this query, for example, will get us a column of salary 300, 400, 500, and so on. So it's compatible to compare a salary with each and every salary here. So we need to check what we are comparing. Okay? Another option is to get the maximum here. So after doing this, we can, instead of all, we can make max salary and remove all. So we are going to compare the D dot salary with the maximum salary. It's also doable and it's correct. Okay. Find the doctor names who have had appointment with all patients. We want to check the doctor names who have appointment with all patients. If you look at this query, you will find that this kind of queries we use to solve it in relational algebra with division, because we are going to check the doctor ID that has appointment with all the patient IDs. Okay, so let's assume that we have patients 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and we have appointment with doctor ID and patient ID. Dr. X, patient 1, Dr. Y, patient 2, Dr. X, patient 2, 3, Y, 1, X, 4. Which doctor has done appointment with all patients? If we check Dr. X, we will find that patient 1, patient 2, which is here, patient 3, and patient 4. So X is a part of our output. Dr. Y made appointment with 2 and 1 only. So Dr. Y has not done any appointment with patients 3 and 4. So it will not be part of our output. Okay, how can we do so? Simply by except and exists. Okay, we can do the division in SQL by exists, or sorry, not exists and except. Okay, what we want to check? We want to check that if we have patients, all the patients here, and here we have the patients of a specific doctor. Okay, here all the patients are 1, 2, 3, 4. Patients of X are 1, 2, 3, 4. If we do difference, we will get empty. When it is empty, it means that this doctor has made appointment with all patients. So we want the output to be returned if this query does not exist. Okay, let's assume that we change the doctor to be Y. What are the patients of Dr. Y in this case? It is 2 and 1. So the output here, 1, 2, 3, 4 minus 1, 2 will be 3, 4. Actually, this query will return output, so it does exist. So Dr. Y is not part of our solution. So simply what we can do is select D dot doctor name from doctors. D where not exists select, we want to get all the patient, okay, P dot patient ID from patient P, okay, except we want each time to get the patients of a specific doctor, of this doctor. So we want to relate this doctor with the doctor in this query. So we're going to select P1.patient ID from appointment P1 where the D dot doctor ID equals to P1 dot doctor ID. Okay, so here we get all the patients, here we get the patients of the doctor we want to check before returning its name. Okay, find the ID of the patient with the greatest number of appointments. Let's divide this into two parts. How to get the greatest number of appointments per patient. Okay, if we have patient ID 1 with Dr. X, patient 1 with Dr. Y, patient 2 with Z, 2 with M, 1 with L, 3 with 2. Okay, how to get the number of the patient with the greatest number of the appointment? Actually, how to count the number of appointments per patient. We need to group by each patient, so we can have 1 1 1 X Y L 2 Z M 3 2. So we are going to group by the patient ID and then to count the number of the rows, right? And to compare or to get the maximum number of counts. Okay, so we want to get the or to group by the patient IDs, okay, and to count the rows. Okay, so we want to get to count the rows. So first we are going to select count X as as X from appointment group by patient ID. So we are going to count each group. This will return 3, 2, 1. Okay, from this query we want to get the maximum X. So we are going to select max X from this query, which will be 3. Right? Now we want to get the patient ID with the greatest number of appointments, which has number of appointments equal to max. So what we want to see at the output is the patient ID from appointment. And in order to compare the number of appointment with the max, we should group by the patient ID. Actually, what we want to do is to compare the count of this patient with the max. So we need to count here. Okay, we want the patient who has a count equals to a specific number. So we want the patient in which the group has a specific count. This condition is related to the group, so we are going to use having count equal to this point. Okay? Now we have a query and we want to know what does this query execute. Select distinct name from doctors where d.salary greater than any select salary from doctor and d.salary less than any select salary from doctor. Let's assume that we have rows in order to solve this problem. So let's assume that we have doctors X, Y, Z, N, salary 100, 200, 300, 400. Okay? Select salary from doctor will return 100, 200, 300, 400. And this one will return the same thing, 100, 200, 300, and 400. Okay? Select distinct doctor name, which means that we do not want any repeated name from doctors, where d.salary greater than any. Is 100 greater than any one of them? Not all, any one of them? Actually, yes. Sorry, it's not greater than any of them because it's the smallest one. Okay, so this one will not return. Now check the next one. Is 200 greater than any one of these? Actually, yes, because it's greater than 100, so the first condition is true. Let's check the another condition. So, 200 is greater than any one of them, which is 100. Let's check the other condition. Is 200 less than any of them? Actually, yes, because it's less than 300 and 400. So, Dr. Y will be returned. Then that is 300. Greater than any? Actually, yes, because it's greater than 200 and 100. Is 300 less than any of these? Actually, yes, because it's less than 400. So that will be returned because both conditions are true. L. Is 400 greater than any? Actually, yes. However, is 400 less than any? No, because it is the maximum one. So L will not be returned. So in this case, the doctor's names will be returned is Y and Z, which do not have either the minimum salary or the maximum salary. So basically, this query returns the doctor names who do not have a maximum salary nor a minimum salary. In this question, it is different because we are going to execute or to check whether this query, what this query returned instead of writing the query. Now we have tables, okay, of professors, students, prerequisites, and lecture. And we want to get this query. We want to get the lecture names, which will be obtained from here, from lecture, attendant, prerequisite. So we are going to join this table with this table and this table, lecture, prerequisite, attendant, where the lecture number, which is here, equals to pre.successor. So the lecture number is equals to the numbers here, and the lecture number equals to a.lecture number, which is attendant. Okay, I guess we are missing one table. Let's check this. So now we have table attendant. We want to check the name, and we are going to join lectures, which is here, with attendant and prerequisite, where the lecture number is equal to the lecture number and equals to the pre.successor. So we want to get the common lecture numbers and successor here, which is 5041, 5043, which is found in the both, 5049, 5216, 5052, and 5259. So these are the common between these two tables, and then we want to check the common with the other table, which is attendant. So 5041 is found, so it will be common. 5043 actually is not found here, so this one will be discarded. 5049 is found. 5052 is found. 5216 is here, and 5259. So at the end, these are the rows that are common between the three tables. Okay, we want to get the distinct name of this lecture, which will be ethics, this one, philosophy, bioethics, and the Vienna circle. Okay, so the output will be these 4 lectures. Okay, what does this query do? Actually, it gets the lecture names that has a successor and has been attended by a student. Okay, so let's move to the other one. Select temp as query, and then select the average hours from this query. Let's see what does this query do. Select the ID number, the sum of the hours from student, attended, lecture. So we are going to join between students, attended, and lecture. Whereas dot semester less than 4. So we want the student with semester less than 4, which are these 3 students. Where the ID here of the students equals to the ID of attended. So 28106 is here, 29120 is here, and 2935 is here. Okay, and a.lecture equal l.lecture. Okay, so 5041, 5052, 5216, 5259, 5001, 5041, 5049, which is here, and 5022. Okay, group by the student.id&r, which means that we want to join between these 3 tables and group by the students. So at the end, we want to get the group of each student with the corresponding lectures and the sum of the hours of this lecture. So let's check the hour of 5041, which is 4, of 5052, 3, 5216, 2, 5259, which is 2. So this student took this lecture with this corresponding hour. We need to get the sum of hours. 7 plus 2, 9, 11. And for this student, 5001, 4 hours, and 5041, 4. So this student, sum of hours is 8. And sorry, we have this student as well, 5049, 2. So this will be 10 instead of 8. And the last student takes only 1 lecture with 2 credit hours. So the sum of hours is 11, 10, and 2. Okay, so this query will return the ID of the student, which is 28106, with the sum of hours 11, 29120 with sum of hours 10, 2935 with sum of hours 2. Okay, and we want to get the average hours as average from temp. So we need to get the average of these hours. Okay, that's it for today, and see you next time. Thank you very much.